Yo, what's up guys? mgoth1200 here, and today I'm here with a FIFA 17, even though this is actually 16, FIFA 17 vodcast, and I'm here with Chuck and Dan, or Chuck's the man and VFL Dan. Those of you that are intelligent enough, you'd work out that those two are the same people. But yeah, so hi guys.
Hey.
So
hey,
yeah.
Guys.
So I've recently just played FIFA 17, and I've played it I've had a bit of a break. I got it straight when I got home, played on it for about an hour or so, then had to be interrupted because of our VFL thing, our VFL involvement with Hoffenheim. But then I went back to it and started to play again, and it's about 11:30 at this moment in time. So yeah, the guys have prepared some questions to ask me, so I'm just waiting to be interviewed, so to speak. So yeah, let's get on with it. So who's got the first question?
May I go first? Or do you want to go first?
No, you go first, Dan. Be my guest.
Okay. Has the gameplay changed much?
Oh, the gameplay. Well, see, that's an interesting one, because I feel like the gameplay has definitely changed, but it's a lot slower, but at the same time it's a lot faster. And the reason why I say that, like, everyone says it's slowed down a lot, which it has, as in players' acceleration, they're not as quick as they used to be. However, when you get going, you generally get going, and the sprint speed really counts. So it's a quicker game when you're with quicker players, so to speak, if that makes sense. But generally speaking, if you've got centre-backs, like every team does, generally speaking, it's nice. It's a nice feel to the game. It's quite fluid, as in, it's just a nice, the way they run, the way they go, is the way they hold their momentum as they run is very, I'd say, realistic, because it's in FIFA 16 what you'd get is players run and they'd like, the momentum could be a bit odd, because a lot of the time you could literally just dead stop when you're sprinting, whereas now the player takes a couple of steps and it's more realistic, it flows better all around. So yeah, that would be my answer to, has the gameplay changed much?
Yeah, decent.
And what about attacking runs? You know, like in FIFA 16, what really annoyed me is that you'd be running out of defence and your wingers or your midfielders, they would just stand waiting for the ball to their feet. They'd never make any runs. So have they increased the intelligence of the AI to make those attacking runs?
I'd say yes. However, L1, we're on PS4, but L1 does work on FIFA 16, because you can ask players to run previously, but the runs did work, but about 50% of the time, I'd say. So whereas now, when you make them to run, I'd say it's about the same, but when you get it right, you know you got it right, and a lot of the time you get through. So and I'm by the way, guys, I was playing on Legendary, so I was playing. I got the career mode side of the beta, so I was playing on the hardest difficulty. So it's not as if I was like playing on amateur and be like, yeah, it's easy to get through every time. I'm not saying that. I was playing on Legendary. It was the hardest it could be. So yeah, when I say attacking runs, when you tap L1, players do go for it, and they do make good runs. However, if you're on about, are you asking about AI runs, like without tapping L1? Hello? Are you asking about AI runs?
That's what I'm asking. I'm asking if they make runs by themselves now.
Oh, okay, so runs by themselves, I'd say attacking runs I wouldn't say as much, but I'd say the overall positioning of players is improved a lot, because a lot of the time, I don't know if any of you do this, but especially on pro clubs anyway, I do this, is when I play in midfield, I often drive into some space, say if I were to drive down to the wing, and I was the cam, and there was a right defence midfielder and a left defence midfielder. The left defence midfielder would drop back behind me, and the right defence midfielder would actually push up to my cam position, but not too far, but push up and make an option, so I could then pass it back across. So in that sense, attacking runs is good, but from the back. So the intelligence of general passing play, like triangle play, is much better than before, because you would never get that in FIFA 16, just no way. So yeah,
you just get left backs running into right wing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Decent. Next question, yeah.
Yeah, go for it, go.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, is the passing more influential as it what used to be in FIFA 16? Like, I mean, because sometimes you could spam R1X balls and they ping them up 40 yards in front of you. Is that changed?
What do you mean, like the build-up play type of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. The
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you know when in FIFA 16 when you used to get quite close to a player and you can tap X and it would like lob the ball but very short, so it would like do it, just jump it above the opposition's foot, so to speak. You're able to do that now with a lot more skill, so with a lot more finesse, so to speak. So you do it, and it just flows better, and the AI is less likely to make an interception in that sense, because when you go to pass, you can tell the AI is looking to intercept, but it's quite crisp a game, because it's the way the ball rolls and the amount of power you can get on the passes is realistic. It's definitely realistic, but the AIs aren't quite they're more adaptive, but the animations they've got available to them I don't think is what they had in FIFA 16, which I think is good, because it allows, because you used to get some insane interceptions on FIFA 16. You was like, what the hell? Because like you know like that animation that they did where you do a massive through ball on the floor, and they'd all of a sudden get a massive sliding tackle, all of a sudden flip their legs around and literally tap the ball, and it would come in under perfect control, and then it'd be able to run off with it. That doesn't happen anymore. That definitely doesn't happen, and it's great to see, actually, because you actually do see the AI actually dive in and try and get to the ball and actually miss. So there are mistakes now, which is nice to see. Like, well, sorry, deliberate mistakes. So of the AI, which is nice.
Is it more realistic effect then? Does it, by the sound of it?
Yeah, much better. So yeah.
Right, so as a defender on VFL and a player that uses mostly defensive tactics to win his matches, I need to know this, Matt.
What?
Do defenders still take touches that donkeys would be ashamed of?
That donkeys would be ashamed of? I don't know. I'm not sure about donkeys, but I can tell you about the defenders' touches. But yeah, I think the first touch system is a lot better, because I actually mentioned this to Chuck before this, when I was actually playing, because he was in the party. But now you have a lot of players that press R2 when they first get the ball, and like as in wanting to sprint, and that has an effect now, because you won't get as much pace horse, so to speak, as much. I want to say sweaty, but that's probably wrong. But with the first touch, if you're holding L2 to basically control it better, your first touch is much better, because when you angle it angles the ball better. The new animations are in, so it's just a more fluid touch, and you've got a lot of the double touches as well, so that really helps out defenders, because you can do a double touch, like a quick 1-2 touch, and yes, it doesn't really affect their stats in that sense with the double touch, because then their second touch will be further away, and that will reflect their stats more, which is nice. But do defenders take bad touches still? Yes, because of their stats, but there's a lot more control about it. You've got a lot more options to your first touches now compared to the FIFA 16, which is really good.
There's less chance of us seeing our centre back legend touch a ball into the striker's path for him to go and score. There's less chance of that now, yeah.
I don't know, because I haven't played the pro clubs, but I would like to say yes. Anyway. Dan?
Yeah, I was going to say, the next question is about new shooting mechanics. Is it the same as FIFA 16, or is it as it says in the trailer clip from Anthony Martial, the low-driven hard shots, which I've seen? Is it actually in the game? I mean, does it fulfill what it says on
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's not a different button. See, that's what I originally thought. I thought the drilled shot would be a different button, like maybe they were taking out chip shot or finesse shot or something. But actually, it's not a different button at all. It's just the amount of power you put on it and the angle that you shoot at, which is a bit confusing. But it does work. Like when you're driving, say if you're driving towards the box, and then all of a sudden you take a turn to the right and you want to shoot to left. If you get it within maybe 2 or 3 bars, I'd say it will do a low drilled shot to the bottom left corner if you're aiming to the left. But you need to be careful, because I did this with, I think it was, I was playing as Chelsea because I'm a Chelsea supporter. I did this with Kante, and I moved from the left to the right, and obviously I wanted to shoot with his right foot, and he just basically skewed it really far wide. It was way closer to the corner flag, and it wasn't that I did really shit power or anything. It's just no, it just. I think they still need to work on it, because it obviously is a new feature. Yeah. So I do think they need to work on it still. But it does work, because I did do it with, I played Oscar, and I did this lovely 2-touch. You know when you like play off the man, so you get a touch, you take 1 touch, and you tap it to the side, and then you just shoot on the turn. Yeah. I did that with Oscar, and the drill shot worked so well. The keeper just literally didn't know what hit him, and he had no chance of getting it, and it was so good. And I'm just thinking, rest in peace on FIFA 17 for the pro club keepers, because if you can get one of those shots, there's no way they're going to react unless they bring in the new animations to pro clubs, which they didn't for FIFA 16 from FIFA 15, which is kind of stupid when you think about it. But that's one thing I will say to them in feedback from this beta. But yeah, so a new shooting mechanics, I'd say it does need work, but it does work, so to speak. It needs work, but the idea is there, and it has potential. So
is it a lot harder the shooting? Is it a lot difficult from FIFA 16?
Yeah, I'd say. Well, it's difficult to talk about shooting without talking about goalkeepers, really.
True, yeah.
Which is, Chuck, are you going to ask that question? Are you?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay.
That was going to be my next question. So please touch upon that. I really want to know if they still have magical hands.
What, the magical suction gloves?
Yeah, magical suction gloves. Where if they touch something, it's theirs. There's no taking it away from them.
Yeah, well, I'll mention that in a sec. Then what I do, I'll go back to the point that I was trying to make with Dan's. But the shooting, if you do a really, really hard shot, they don't have, as I said, they don't have the suction gloves. So if you hit it right at, because we all know Courtois has got brilliant handling in FIFA, and a lot of the time in FIFA 16, if you do an amazingly powerful shot, say if you had, who's a good shot power, say like Ibrahimovic, Podolski, there you go, yeah, and you shoot with him like on our team, full whack, you're right next to him, and all of a sudden you can literally just gobble it up between his breasts, and it's just like, what the fuck? But
like you've hit a shot so hard that you've caved his chest in.
But then he's fine. Yeah. So that definitely doesn't happen anymore. They parry it and stuff, which is really nice to see. Well, not nice because it's a bit irritating, but because they can parry it and right back into the danger zone, because obviously they'd have no choice. If you have a proper powerful shot, if you're a goalkeeper, you have no idea. But yeah, so it is great, and the goalkeepers' suction gloves, they no longer exist, guys. They no longer exist. It is great to see the amount of crosses I've put in, like early crosses and just normal crosses. Keepers will, if they know they can claim it, they won't full on sprint and then just all of a sudden it will spawn in their hands as their animation comes into play. That doesn't happen anymore. So they don't have the suction gloves. What they do is, they basically come out to claim it, and then they either punch it or palm it or something away with decent power. So the goalkeeper coming out is still OP, but they won't hold it, which is better. It's an improvement, but it's not all the way there. It's not all the way there, which is disappointing, I suppose, because you would expect that, FIFA 16, the suction gloves were just ridiculous, which they have sorted out. But the overall momentum of the ball when they saved, you could be ridiculous. Like sometimes you have an amazing shot power shot, a really low powered shot, and all of a sudden a goalkeeper get touch with it and it would just fly off to the corner. It doesn't work. But and that has changed a bit, but not too much, I'd say. But it is getting there. It is getting there. So yeah.
Are the keepers better than they was, or are they same?
Yes, because there are new animations. There are new animations, and it's just beautiful. It really is. You can see them take their run up more, yeah. So you can see them preparing, like when you're running down the wing, you can see the keeper like not quite jolting, but like getting his feet ready almost. It's weird. They do different animations in that sense. So and then when you cross it in, they're ready to either come out and try and claim it, or actually get ready for the shot on the other end for the striker. That will. Right. So yeah, it is good. It is good.
Sorry, Matt, you touched upon crossing in that. Has it changed? Because in FIFA 15, crossing does not work. Does crossing now work? Have they fixed it?
Yes, they have.
Is it viable to use it?
They have, and this is probably one of my favourite things in the beta at the moment. The way the ball flies in the air is much more realistic, as in EA have found out what gravity is. Because they've, like... How can I put this? When you hit the ball, the amount of swing that the player puts on his leg beforehand, like golf, if you picture it, will determine how far and how powerful the ball is, rather than all of a sudden you tap square or something and you hold down square and all of a sudden they do just a little tap and it'll go flying. Like you do that with the L1 triangle balls, like a lot of the time on pro clubs when you want to do an L1 triangle through ball, they just literally just tap it and all of a sudden it'll go flying. That does not happen anymore. So
no, that was my tactic at left back.
But yeah, no, that doesn't happen anymore, and it is good. It is good because you just see it fly through the air, and it's great when you do an L1 triangle through ball and you do it like across the field. Say, well, I've done it a lot of time with Fabregas and Kante, just ping it to like Willian or Hazard on the wing, and they can touch it down, and it's nice. And the funny thing is that because the way I said with like the actual speed of the game. You can actually, when you do a through ball, because your player is sprinting, it takes a while for the defenders to catch up. So basically players are around the same speed now, because the defender will have to try and accelerate to your player to match his speed. But by that time, your player would have touched it down, so it's about equal. So by the time you've touched it down, they would have begun to close you down, and begun to pressure you. So in that sense, yeah. Yeah, it is good. It is better. It's definitely better. Through ball's insane. Crossing is better. Just for that simple fact.
So for about like through balls and passing, just touching on that, is it kind of like took it back a little bit to when through balls were like overpowered in like FIFA 14 days?
I wouldn't say it's overpowered, because as I said, it's more equal now. Because by the time you've got it roughly controlled and good enough to decide what to do next, they are pressuring you. But obviously, if you've got like Mertesacker and Ronaldo, obviously that's going to be different. But generally speaking, if they've got around the same stats, that will happen, and it is good.
Yeah, I mean, Mertesacker would catch Ronaldo immediately. It's not a good option. It's not a good thing to.
Also, touching on the crosses, Matt. Have they got like it is in kind of like real life? Have they kind of got like a different type of cross where it's kind of like a floated kind of cross? Like
I mean for corners.
Cross, do you know what I mean? Like
floating. Yeah.
Not like a pinged whip cross, but I just mean like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like a lofting,
ball.
floating, yeah.
Yeah, lofted,
so, I mean, I haven't figured out how to do that in normal gameplay, but I've definitely figured out how to do that in corners. And pretty much corners, you just put more, the more power you put on it, the more angle it will get on the trajectory, so to speak. So you have the area where you want to hit it, and you use it with a cursor, basically. You literally put it in the box. And the more power you put on it, the higher the ball will rise as you get it to that place where you marked it. So it's quite handy, say, if you've got Zuma in there and you want to get it on his head and you know that he's against, say, I don't know.
Eric Boy.
Well, no, because they're about equal in the air, aren't they? You want someone small, I don't know, like Moutinho or
Blind.
Pedro or something, I don't know, Blind, yeah, whatever. You can ping it really high, put a lot of power in it, same position, and it will be able to get it. Well, you have a lot more of a chance to get it onto Zuma's head rather than Moutinho or whoever we're talking about, Pedro, whatever. So it is nice, but I could see that becoming OP, to be honest, because it is very difficult to pull it off, but when you pull it off, it does work.
So you'd have to make sure that you've got your big man marking the big man.
Yeah, you would, like real life. Like, you wouldn't get Vardy marking Ibrahimovic.
Oh, well, you say that. Arsenal had Kieran Gibbs marking Bloomin' Morgan last season.
Oh, well, how did that work out?
It didn't. It really didn't.
Right. Anyway, guys, right, let's move on to the next question, because it's been quite a while on that.
Has the commentary changed? Like,
Commentary?
Is there different commentators? Yeah,
well,
different commentators.
No, there's not different commentators. Well, I've only played in Premier League, so I don't really know. I mean, I played in pre-season tournaments, obviously, and that's different. I mean, I suppose you could count this as commentary. You know, for those of you that's actually been to a game in real life, you will get at the start of every single game, as the players walk onto the pitch, you will get the player numbers. So, for example, the announcer in the background of the stadium, not the commentary team, but the stadium, will say number 1, Begovic, number 2, Ivanovic, and so on and so forth. And they will go through the whole team, and it only does the home team, which is peculiar, but that's a step in the right direction, I think, because when you start the game up, when you hear the introductional music, it really brings a lot more realism to the game. It makes it more surreal. It makes it feel like you're there more because, you know, I as I said, it happens in real life. It happens when, as I said, like those of you that actually been to games, that happens. And, you know, it just reminded me when I went to like Aldershot and Stamford Bridge and Wembley and stuff. It just made me think of that. So, you know, that's really brought it a sense of realism to that career mode game. I'm not sure if it will happen in pro clubs and stuff like that. I don't know if they'll do it by your like player name as in commentary name, but that'd be interesting. That'd be something to find out, I suppose. But yeah, commentary overall I don't think has changed that much. I'm not really sure. I need to play it more to give you a proper answer on that. But yeah, so I do like it though. I haven't really noticed that much on commentary if I'm honest. But yeah. Right, next.
Right, we're going to move away from gameplay a little bit, and we're going to ask the question that's always asked for every single FIFA: graphics and animations.
Yeah, good shout.
And one thing that I know so many people keep on wanting EA to fix because it destroys the immersity of the game. Crowds.
Crowds.
Have they been made? Can I see Fat Dave in the crowd?
What? As in, do you mean the variety of people in the crowd? Like, has it changed?
Yeah,
rather
the variety
than
of people, the graphics, if they're blurry, if they're cheering, if they're wearing the right colours.
Well, I'd say I can't answer blurry because I'm not sure if my PlayStation's lagging with the beta, because obviously it's not going to be amazing, because I've seen on replays and stuff it does lag a bit from when I've scored goals, but that's obviously not the crowd. But on replays it does lag, but that just might be that they've not put everything they can into the beta in terms of graphics, which is understandable, to be fair. It's more about the gameplay than anything else, and the features that it has. But yeah, the crowd, I mean, I know on FIFA 16 and all the past FIFAs, you used to get Bob on one seat, and then again you'd have like Jemima or so in one seat next to him, and then you'd have Bob again the third seat down. It's like, that doesn't make sense. And you'd have like a clone, wouldn't you? And yeah, I don't think that happens as much. It does happen, but you'd have to look a bit more in the crowd to see that, and you'd have to actually think about it and actually see it. To see it basically, rather than be like, oh, you'd see the two of the same people, twins so to speak, and you know, just make it a bit more unrealistic on FIFA 16. That doesn't happen as much, but you'd have to think about it to actually find out that it still does happen. But overall, it is better. It's definitely better.
Decent. So the question I So the question I wanted to ask is, What about the players' faces? Has the players' faces, like graphics, and like in their face and the animations that they do? So, say for example, like players are kind of shouting, kind of giving like commands, like, you know, pass a ball over and stuff like that. Has that changed? Because like in PES, I know like they take the kind of actual players' face and build the structure. Have they kind of brought that into FIFA? Do you know what I mean? Have they made it more real, like more not more?
Yeah, with player faces, the thing I like the most, and I just think it's so good, is that might sound a bit creepy now, you know what I'm going to say, but it's to do with sweat. The actual sweat on the players are a lot more, like, there's no sweat on them at the start of the game, then all of a sudden they start getting more sweaty, and especially towards the 90th minute, they're literally just drenched. It's quite funny. But and the older players get it. I mean, like Batshuayi doesn't get it at all. But Cahill and Terrier is just drenched by the end of the game. It's quite funny. But but yeah, and it's a lot more realistic because you get the reflection of the water of the sweat on their faces a lot more. And I wouldn't say it's unrealistic. I'd say they've got it about right, because when you see on like TV, it is a lot closer to TV than it is like cartoon, if that makes sense. Which is a good step.
That's what a football game should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Glistening off the fat ginger pikey's face.
But yeah. So yeah, sweat I think is the main thing about player faces at the moment. I mean, player faces in general have always been good on FIFA. As long as they're popular players, obviously. I mean, you don't get. I mean, have you seen the Luis Suarez one in 2008? That's horrible. He's got like a Hitler moustache. but yeah. Anyway, I won't go into that. That's different. But big players now. Now Suarez's game faces is much better. But obviously, that's that. Anyway, Chuck. Next question. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to ask about the pitches. Have they improved them at all? And do you get skid marks on the pitches still, and on the players' clothes? Yeah,
I'd say pitches. I want to talk about stadiums as well if we're talking about pitches. But the pitches is a lot more darker pitch now. You can tell that they've thought about, like, from FIFA 15 to 16, the pitches were the pitch got lighter, and now they're going back to dark again, and it's confusing because I think they must swap every time just to make the previous players think, oh, that's new. Which I don't like personally, but that's obviously what they've done, and we just have to live with that because we can't change that. But yeah, now I say stadiums, like the camera angles that you're set. I think they've gone back a couple of FIFAs because I don't like it. I know you can do custom camera angles, but that's just annoying. You have to go through settings and stuff, and it's horrible. And the camera angle changes a lot more with the different stadiums you go to, whereas it didn't change too much depending on what size stadium. Whereas now it changes at every single stadium, and it's just irritating, which is awkward as well because you think, oh yeah, this player's over here, when you're used to them being over there when your screen is further back, so to speak, when your viewing area is further back, so you'd usually be able to see him. So you'd ping a ball over there, thinking, and you see on the map that they're roughly around that area. And then actually there's someone completely different. They might be further back or further forward, and it's just be awkward. And they need to sort out the camera angles in that aspect. They need to keep it more consistent from stadium to stadium, which is something I think they need to work on. But yeah, skid marks is something that Chuck talks about every single day, I assume. But skid marks, yeah, obviously they still have it. Yeah, they it's the same really. They have nothing new really. I mean, no comment really other than that.
On the players itself, like what about like pulling the shirts? Like, does a shirt kind of like rip us? Like, for example, like in real life, if somebody tugs it, like, does it kind of rip?
No, it doesn't rip. If only it did, that'd be great. Like, cause you see the players going off to get a replacement shirt, that'd be pretty cool. But unfortunately, no, that doesn't happen.
Is there water breaks in the game? That's what I want to ask. Like, is there
no.
That'd be cool to have.
Yeah, that would be cool. But it's something for me to tell EA to do in my feedback. But yeah, no, yeah.